Yo, it's official. Like a referee with a whistle. Like, share the video and all that good stuff. And we're going to do like we always do, man. We're going to talk that talk. And we're going to go out and make it happen, man. So we got to talk about the Katt Williams interview. And boy, it was a good one. Oh, man. Katt Williams, he always speaks his mind. But there's some things that when it comes to these entertainers that a lot of people might not be aware of. And I've worked in the entertainment field for a couple of years when I lived in Atlanta. So I kind of understand. I know people that know people. So I kind of understand how a lot of these people think. But a lot of stuff that Katt was saying, he was pretty spot on, you know. As far as the personal stuff, I don't know a lot of these people personally, but when it comes to the mindset of a lot of these people, he was pretty spot on. You know, but Katt ain't really never been a quote Hollywood dude anyway. You know, he really don't fit in Hollywood. And that's okay. That's okay. Everybody don't have to fit in all the damn time. It's okay to be on the outside, be an outsider. Why try to fit in when you automatically stick out anyway? So, you know, but Katt, you know, if you lived in Atlanta, you might see Katt out and about. Katt be kicking it, man. Katt don't even act like a celebrity. You might see Katt at Starbucks or at the mall or some shit like that. And just him, just kicking it. You might see him at the strip club. You know, Katt be kicking it, man. Yeah, if you live in Atlanta, you might see him. That's what type of person he is. Based on my experience. And I lived in Atlanta for 11 years. Up until 2 years ago. So, you know, you don't act like a celebrity, and he has a different upbringing from most celebrities. That's the thing. His morals and values, and he has integrity. A lot of people in entertainment, Hollywood specifically, they don't have a lot of integrity. You know what I'm saying? You know, they don't. And that's okay if they don't. I mean, you know, I know if I'm not around people that don't have integrity. I can't be around people like that. Not in this day and time. Not at the point in my life anyway. You know, but I would say go check the interview out. It was a good interview. You know, Shannon Sharpe, he's kind of funny sometimes. Cause I think like Shannon Sharpe is like a lot of people. If you're saying something about somebody and maybe he's friends with them, with the person you might be talking about, or maybe he has some type of relationship with the person that you might be talking about. If you say something that he don't like, he'll be like, "Oh no, come on, man, not him too." So that's how Shannon Sharpe is. There's a lot of people like that though. A lot of people like if you have a relationship with somebody and you're saying something that they don't necessarily like, they'll be like, "Come on, man, not him too, not her too, man." It's hard for some people to believe that this person is involved in this type of activity because they have a relationship with these people, so they're by default they're a little biased, which is understandable. But I think it's funny when people respond the way they do. So Shannon Sharpe does the same thing sometimes. I think it's funny. But the interview was almost 3 hours. It's 2 hours and 2 hours and 49 minutes. That's almost 3 hours. It was a long interview. I think it might have been Shannon Sharpe's longest interview, if I'm not mistaken. The longest one so far, if I'm not mistaken. Oh. But he said, I guess when it comes to certain people, Katt made statements like, this person is a pitcher and a batter. Basically, he made statements about people's sexuality, right? And here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of these people will do something strange for a piece of change, or they'll do something funny for a little bit of money, right? But here's the deal. Let's say one of these people that Katt was talking about gets invited to a party somewhere in Hollywood or New York or wherever the party's at, regardless of who's having it. But let's say this guy, he likes women, right? He has a wife, girlfriend, kids. It don't even matter. But he goes to this party. He wants to mingle and meet people and network. That's his excuse to go to the party, right? Which is fine if that's what you want to do. That's, I guess, part of the Hollywood, playing the Hollywood game or whatever. Or that's a part of business, whatever, right? Whatever you want to call it. So some of these guys there at that party, they're bisexual. They go both ways. And then some of them are just gay, right? But some of those guys will hit on other guys that are deemed straight, are gay or bisexual, right? And some of these guys, even though they might say they're straight, will engage in sexual activities with a guy that's so-called bisexual or gay, right? And the guy that's deemed to be straight, or he had a good time doing whatever he did with this man, right? It was just a one-nighter, right? He goes back home to his wife, girlfriend, kids, whatever, right? Now, that's a one-night thing. It might never happen again. Or it might happen next year at the next party or some shit like that, right? Now, here's the crazy thing, the twisted thing that a lot of people don't realize. I've met people like that. And they don't think that they're gay at all. They think that, hey, this is just a part of the job. I had to do what I had to do. The get the deal, the get the, you know, the be in the movie, or to get a record deal, or to get investors, or that's what I mean when I said people do something strange for a piece of change. They'll do something funny for a little bit of money. They'll be like, hey, it's gay for pay. It's that type of shit. Right? But they don't see themselves as gay or homosexual. They don't see themselves as being homosexual at all. They don't think anything's wrong with it. They'll justify and say, hey, I had to do what I had to do to take care of my family. Now, this might sound crazy to you. You might say, man, I don't make, to a straight guy, he'll be like, hey, I don't make no sense. If you sleep with a man one night, even if it's for 10 minutes, you're gay. That's the straight man way of thinking, right? And that makes sense to me. But I'm telling you, to some people, that don't make sense to. People think differently, you know. And same as with women, same thing. Women think, a lot of these women in Hollywood or in entertainment think the same way. They'll lay up with a woman, even if it's for one night. Go, and after the party's over, go back home like nothing happened. Hey, I had a good time. I'm back home with my kids and wife, and that's it. But they don't say, well, I'm a lesbian. No, they don't even think so. They don't. That didn't even cross their mind. That was just fun. And they'll justify and say, well, I was just curious. Well, you know, I had to do what I had to do to take care of my family. That's all, you know, that's that taking care of my family is always that's the big excuse people make today. So people will do anything today to take care of their family, which is it's a lie, but I'm just saying they're not really doing it to take care of their family. They're doing it to take care of themselves. That's what they really mean when they say I'm doing. I got to do. I got to take care of. I think I had to do the best thing for my family. That they're not doing that for them. They're doing it to take care of themselves. That's why they're really doing it. That's the truth. But they wouldn't say that they're homosexual or gay. That was just a one night thing. I'll probably never do it again. Then they'll go to the party next year. They'll do the same thing again. Or they'll go to somebody's house. They'll get invited to go to somebody's house. They'll do the same thing again. You have couples that do this type of shit. Couples will get invited over to someone's house and it'll go down. All four of them. This type of stuff, it happens. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying this to make you understand the psychology of different types of people. That's all I'm saying. You know, because I don't care. You do whatever you want to do in your bedroom. I could care less. But when you're out and about meeting people, dating people, you should be aware of who you might be talking to sometimes, or who you might be dating sometimes. Because a lot of people will just assume that the person that they met 6 months ago, all they interested in is men, right? And I'm telling you, there's a lot of women out here that date men and women. They lay up with men and women. There's a lot of women out here that's like this. There's some guys out here that they'll lay up with a man and a woman. But they prefer, check this out, check the language, watch the language. But they prefer to be with a man or be with a woman. So if I'm a man, I prefer to be with a woman. If I'm a woman, I prefer to be with a man. But that don't mean they won't lay up with the same sex every once in a while. Now, my question to you is are you okay with being with somebody in a long-term relationship like that? And that's not a right or wrong question. That's a question to you. Are you okay? If you're a man, are you okay being with a woman that likes being with a woman sometimes? If you're a woman and you're with a man, are you okay with your husband or your boyfriend being with another man every once in a while? It's not a right or wrong answer. It's just that's a question that you have to answer. You should be aware of, especially if you live in a big city. Now, if you live in a small town, it ain't a whole lot of that. You don't really have to worry about a lot of different activities going on between the sexes. Not necessarily, not really. Small town USA is kind of simple living. In smaller towns, people are not really, they're not really on no wild shit like that. Now, there's some people, of course, but for the most part, small town living USA, and people are not really wilding like that. Life is simple in small towns. For the most part, you know, at least based on my experience, and I've been across America. I've been all over North America. From the North, East, Midwest, South. I've been all across this country. But for the most part, in small towns, it ain't a whole lot of gay people around like that. It ain't a whole lot of subgroups around like that. If they have people like that in those small towns, they usually end up going to the city or going to a bigger town, like on the weekends or something like that, to have their little fun, and then they'll take their ass back home once the party's over. But you don't have a lot of people. You're not going to have a lot of people living an alternative lifestyle in a lot of these small towns because of shame. Because of shame. And if you do have people living some alternative lifestyle in these small towns, they stay in the closet. That's what usually happens because of shame. And shame is a motherfucker, boy. Shame is a motherfucker. But if you live in a big city, oh boy. Ooh. Boy, all kind of shit going on in a lot of these big cities. This is why you have to take time to get to know people. You don't really know what people are into when you first meet them. You really don't know. Like the stuff Katt was talking about is kind of like a microcosm of what's going on in North and South America, really. What he said, everybody was thinking, but it just never gets talked about. That's all. Yeah, people. It's not like it wasn't like a big shocker at all. People weren't like shocked, like, oh God, I can't believe he sent up Steve Harvey. No, we pretty much knew who Steve Harvey was. We know who Steve is. The streets know who Steve Harvey is. I mean, he ain't perfect. He do some good shit. He do some things that's kind of, some kind of so-so, But he is who he is, As far as the comedians go, some comedians are funny to me, some are not. And what's funny to me might not be funny to you. So, like being a funny comedian is kind of subjective. Like some comedians are funny to me, some are not. I would say Steve Harvey is a good MC. That's his thing. He's really good at doing that. But as far as him being one of the best like comedians, I never looked at Steve Harvey like that. I mean, I think he says a lot of things that are kind of suspect, kind of cowardly sometimes. He says a lot of things that I wouldn't say, me personally, just as a man, whatever. I mean, forget being an entertainer, just as a man, And there were a lot of rumors. It's been a lot of rumors about things that happened when they was on that King comedy tour. Yeah, that stuff that Katt was saying, that's nothing new. That's been pretty much been out there for years. How he was hating on the rest of the comedians on the tour. Steve Harvey was hating on people. And Steve Harvey got booed on a couple of sets in a couple cities on that tour. Because Steve Harvey it was his tour, but it ended up he ended up having to fall back a little bit and not be the headliner because he just wasn't good enough. He was getting booed. He was bombing. You know, and that's just what happened. He just wasn't good enough. Like certain cities, it's a different crowd. So every city is a different crowd, different people, different mindset. Especially if you're in places like New York and Philly and Miami, New York, Philly, Miami, LA, Chicago. Those are tough towns as a comedian or anybody on stage, period. When you hit that stage, whether you're speaking or whatever you're doing, in those cities, you better bring it. You better bring it. You're going to get booed. Yeah, them cities are tough, boy. That's based on my experience. For real. And plus, being a comedian that's got to be the toughest thing to ever do on stage. You're better off being a public speaker or motivational speaker than a damn comedian. God damn. Ooh. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to tell jokes and make people laugh. God damn. Man, I'll be a public speaker any fucking day of the week. I can be a public speaker right now. I can go on stage and rock the crowd right now as a public speaker. But a comedian, hell no. You can have that shit. Hell no. That shit is hard as fuck. And when people don't laugh, if you're getting booed, you just can't leave the stage. If you got time left, you can't just walk off. How do you handle that? How do you handle getting booed? That's a skill set within itself. So that's why I say you can have that being a comedian. You can have it. I'm taking the easy way out. Now I'm taking the easy way out. You can have it. Yeah. But Steve just wasn't good enough. And the rest of those guys were better than Steve on that tour. And Katt was supposed to be on that tour, but he turned them down. I heard about that back in the day. I heard about that. He turned it down for whatever reason. I don't know. But think about if Katt was on the Kings of Comedy tour. Think about what it would have looked like. But the reason why Katt Williams can talk like that, because he doesn't need Hollywood. He doesn't need Hollywood. He's been doing what he's been doing, touring for what? I don't know. Over 10 years now. And making a killing without Hollywood. So he can say what he want to say. Yeah, he might get some death threats. Hopefully nothing happened to him. But it's not going to affect his income. That's what I'm saying. Now, these other comedians or these other entertainers, actors, actresses, or whatever, they can't talk like Katt was talking on that interview. They can't talk like that. They'll cancel them. Will Smith can't talk like that. None of them guys that's in Hollywood can't. The women can't. Oprah can't talk like that. Kevin Hart can't talk like that. They can't. They'll be canceled. They'll they'll do the same thing to Oprah or Kevin Hart that they did with Katt Williams years ago. It didn't work, but because Katt, he got back up on his feet. But see, that's the thing. A lot of these people, the reason why they don't say what they want to say, is they don't believe that they can bounce back. That's the thing. They'll get canceled and get stripped down. Look at what happened to Jonathan Majors. Look at what happened to Jonathan Majors. He was on top of the game. Now he's running down the street from a woman. He's running down the street from a woman, man, in New York City. He's an A-list actor running down the streets of New York City. Think about that. Have you ever seen anything like that? I'm an A-list actor. I ain't never seen nothing like that since I've been living. A-list act, they usually have security. The security usually handle that type of shit. As far as people trying to get at them, and they don't be running down the street. They might be driving down the street, but damn. So he got lost deals and all, Disney deal and all kind of shit. Is he gonna recover? I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But if somebody give you something, they can always take it back. Just keep that in mind. Especially if you're not really that talented. If you have no skills and you're not really that talented, it's going to be hard for you to make a comeback, if at all. So this is why a lot of people in entertainment don't really have much to say, or they can't say certain things because they know they'll get stripped down. But Katt, he doesn't care. He don't need them. They don't need the system. They don't need Hollywood. He's doing his own thing. And that's the best way to be, in my opinion. Plus, you can make tons of money. From what I've been hearing from a lot of people over the years, in Hollywood, you're kind of capped. Hollywood is based on if you're a man or a woman, you're black, you're white, and all the politics. You got to deal with the politics when it comes to getting paid. Katt Williams don't got to deal with no politics. They don't got to deal with no politics. He make, I don't know, I think he said sometime $300,000 a show. And you got some actors and actresses in Hollywood, they don't even get paid $300,000 a movie. And Katt is getting paid $300,000 a show. Think about that. And it might be getting paid more than that. But the point I'm trying to make is you got Hollywood actors and actresses, they're not getting paid $300,000 a movie. And Katt is making millions. And there's no cap. The possibilities are endless. The income is endless. Plus, he's helping other comedians. He's bringing them on tour with him. He's bringing them on tour with him. He's helping other people out. He's opening the door. You got a lot of gatekeepers out here. People say ain't no gatekeepers. Yes, they are. I heard Ice Cube say something the other day. Ice Cube said, all the people that like to complain about how much they got paid in the past, but he said, here's the deal. I did a low budget movie. I didn't have no big budget. And you got to pay hundreds of people on the set at any given time. People have to get paid every day that you shoot. So Ice Cube said, look, I put a lot of people on. I gave a lot of people a lot of opportunities. But then he ended the video and said, how many of y'all gave me opportunities? How many of y'all put me in your movie? That was a good point. That was a good point Ice Cube made. You know, you see a lot of people that some of us look up to, the Oprahs, Tyler Perry, and go on and on. How many people did they open the door for? How many people did they put on that we know of? I'm just saying. We might look at them and say, oh, they're great. Yeah, they might be great. Yeah, but what about the people around them? The people that are around them, a lot of these people are starving, broke. Shit, I'm doing better than a lot of these people. And I'm not even an entertainer. A lot of these people are homeless. They ended up homeless after Oprah show went off the air. You know, we love Tyler Perry, right? But how many people do you remember that was in his movies? How many of these people? How many generals he got? How many people? How many people that do you know any of these people? Would you know them if you saw them in public? That's my point. You wouldn't. These people can walk out in public and nobody would know who they are. That's my point. So you might see them as great, but what about the people that's around them, that used to be around them? How great did they turn out to be? I'm just saying. Let's take it a step further. Let's take 50 Cent. Let's take 50 Cent. Oh, Rick Ross. Let's take 50 Cent. Right? 50 Cent put a lot of people on. New people. And we know them. And we would, if we saw them in Lenox Mall in Atlanta, we would know them. Right? He put a lot of people on TV, movies, music, got them record deals, everything. Regardless of what you think about 50. He put a lot of people on. He put them in positions to win. Now, a lot of them fucked up. You know, that's on them. But he put them in positions to win. And when we see, if we were to see them in the mall, in the club, on the plane, we would be like, hey, that's Method Man from the show on TV. Or that's the rapper from G Unit. We would see them because they opened the door for other, because 50 opened the door for other people. He put them on. We can't say the same thing for Tyler Perry or Oprah. We can't. You be like, oh, she put Gail on. Oh, whatever. Whatever. You know how I had someone tell me years ago, you know who the real leaders are based on the leaders that they created. And the apple don't fall too far from the tree. You know what I'm saying? That's how that is. If you're the leader in your crew and everybody around you turn out to be bums, well, that says a lot about you. Let's take Rick Ross, the rapper. This is a good example. Rick Ross done looked out for a lot of people. And everybody is papered up. Ain't nobody starving in Rick Ross's camp. Nobody's starving. Nobody's starving. You know? And you don't even got to be in Hollywood to open the gate for somebody. You ain't got to be in Hollywood to put nobody on, or to at least put them in positions. You can't do the work for them. Of course not. They got to put in the time, the effort, and energy and the work. You know? This is why talent is overrated. This just having talent, that don't guarantee that you're gonna make it to the top. Not at all. It don't work like that. Some people think, okay, the most talented people will always rise to the top. No, that's not true. No, that's not true. It really depends on the environment you're in, and depends on the your skill set, and depends on who's putting the money behind you, who's promoting you and what you got, if at all. Because we see in entertainment, especially, we see in entertainment and in business, we see some products is horrible, but the product is everywhere. People are eating the shit. The food is nasty, but people eating it anyway. The food ain't the best food in the world, but people eating it, and they like it. And then you have people that they ain't the best looking woman in the world, or she ain't the best singer in the world. But people buy her music. They like her music. If she got a show, they show up to see her perform. But she ain't the most talented and the best looking woman in the world. But somebody gave her a record deal, put the money behind her to promote and market what she had to sell. It's really all about the marketing. That's what it really comes down to. The marketing and promotion. That takes money. The best, and I'm going to say, especially in entertainment, the best skilled singers, rappers, almost never rise to the top. They might make money, but they ain't not where they should be. I think we would all agree. You know? I think most people with a rational mind would be like, okay, that makes, like, let's when it comes to, some people will say the best rapper, like their favorite rapper will probably be Tupac. People in my age bracket, their favorite rapper would probably be Tupac, right? But Tupac dead. You know what I'm saying? Some people will say their favorite rapper today that's alive, it would be a popular rapper like Drake, right? That'd be, or 21 Savage or something like. The younger people would probably say 21 Savage or Drake, right? Because that's all they know. They don't know who Tupac was because they weren't born back then. But when Tupac was alive, you know, he wasn't like the favorite. I think Tupac became more popular once he died than when he was living, to be honest. Yeah, I think so. You know. And even if you take the rapper Big L, when Big L was living, he wasn't the most popular rapper. People wasn't saying Big L was the best rapper. No, they said that when he died. That's my point. So it's not really about skill all the time. It's about who's willing to put the money behind you to promote you and your products and whatever you have to offer. That's what it's really about. Well, let's take McDonald's. McDonald's ain't got the best food in the world, man. They ain't got the best food in the world. I mean, we know that. You ain't got to be a genius to figure this out. I mean, we know it. Everybody know it. So when it comes to comedians, it's the same thing. Everybody, what's funny to me might not be funny to you. Now let's take Tiffany Haddish. Now, to me, Tiffany Haddish, she ain't really that funny to me. She's just silly acting. And that makes me laugh. Her being silly acting makes me laugh, right? But she ain't really I don't look at her as a funny comedian. In my opinion, Tiffany Haddish is a better actress than a comedian. That's my opinion. Now, there's people would disagree with that, right? And that's okay. She's not that funny to me, but some people probably would say she's hilarious. You know, and truth be told, Kevin Hart made Tiffany Haddish mainstream. Kevin Hart made Tiffany Haddish mainstream. Now, we know she was around before, but she wasn't hot like that. Most people didn't know who Tiffany Haddish was, including me. Including me. Have I seen her on stage before? Yeah. But I ain't paid attention to her like that until Kevin Hart made her mainstream. And that's when I was like, oh, if Kevin Hart put her on set, I guess I gave her benefit of the doubt. And I don't even think Kevin Hart is all that funny. He's funny sometimes, but he ain't hilarious. Let's be honest. Now, to some people might say Kevin Hart is hilarious. And that's fine. But he ain't hilarious to me. And like I said, this shit is subjective. And that's okay. You know, I don't expect everybody to agree with everything I say and vice versa when it comes to who's funny and who's not. I like David Chappelle. I think David Chappelle is a great storyteller and he's funny, but he's not funny all the time. Some of the stuff David Chappelle says is not meant to be funny. That's the thing. But when David Chappelle walks in the room, Kevin Hart looks up to David Chappelle. Kevin Hart looks up to the Richard Pryors when he was, and the what's the dude? Eddie Murphy. He look up to them dudes. Hell, even Katt Williams have respect for David Chappelle. So, you know, I'm just saying, the best comedian probably ain't gonna be in Hollywood. A good example of this is Corey Holcomb. Corey Holcomb is probably never going to be a part of the Hollywood machine. I mean, he live in Hollywood, but he probably ain't gonna be part of the Hollywood machine. He's one of the best comedians out here. And everybody, all the top, some of the best comedians, they know who Corey Holcomb is. All of them know who Corey Holcomb is. The best ones, the most skilled comedians know who Corey Holcomb is. The shit that he do, only Corey Holcomb, you know, he's an independent dude. He got to put up his own money, or someone has to pay to see him to come out to do a show, right? But the crowd that he brings, most comedians that are independent can't pull those type of crowds. They gotta have the Hollywood machine behind them to get a big crowd to come out. If Kevin Hart was like Corey Holcomb, he wouldn't survive. There's certain comedians need the machine behind them. And that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you just have to, the point I'm trying to make is talent is overrated. It takes more than talent to make it big. Now, Corey Holcomb is what I would say he's a unicorn. He's kind of like, he just figured it out. Because, he got the 5150 show, YouTube show online. A lot of people look at it. A lot of people, they think the show is funny. And him doing that every week and doing shows across the country, people will show up at the club just based on seeing him online. But most of them other comedians, they won't be able to pull that off without being funded by Hollywood, some Hollywood institution or something like that. They won't be able to pull it off. That's hard to do. That takes skill, luck, and a combination of all kinds of shit. And the audience has to be a certain type of audience. Kevin Hart's audience and Corey Holcomb audience is not the same. The streets show up to see Corey Holcomb. I've been to his shows. The streets show up to see Corey Holcomb. The streets ain't necessarily showing up to see Kevin Hart like that. That's usually a mixed crowd. White, black, and everything else in between. Which is fine. But just like a lot of these people that have record deals, the same rule applies to comedians when it comes to doing business and promotions. Some of these people need the machine behind them, and some don't. But most do. And that's okay. Everybody's not in the same place, in the same position. But the dangerous part about this is when you go mainstream, and if you lose your base, your core audience, it's easy to get things to get taken away from you. Look at Bill Cosby. They stripped him for everything. All his movies, DVDs out the stores, everything, the shows got taken down out of syndication worldwide. That's money. That's money that's been coming in for years. Every 3 to 4 months, he would get a check in the mail or a deposit. That money ain't coming in no more because the show got taken down out of syndication. Fat Albert, the Cosby Show, all that's gone. The DVDs in Walmart, all that's gone. That money's gone forever. Oh, they probably put it back on when he died. That's that type of bullshit, But the point I'm trying to make, that money's gone. He got stripped down, and Cosby, he kind of lost his base, because he had that little rant talking about, hey, you need to pull yourself up by your bootstrap, that type of shit. So he kind of lost his base. And once the white people were done with him in Hollywood, you were done. His image is tarnished. He's an old man. Yeah, I know. But he ain't going to ever be able to recover from that shit. The damage is done. So that's the danger of you going mainstream. A lot of people go mainstream, they lose their base, their audience that they had when they was on the come up. And like I said, if people give you something, it's easy. They can always come back and take it away. That's the thing. You have to understand the game that you're playing out here. But it's not just about talent. Talent is overrated. If it was about talent, I'd been rich 10 years ago. If it was just about talent. Yeah, it's this much. It takes more than just talent to make it big out here. It's a combination of things that has to happen. And sometimes money ain't enough. Sometimes money ain't even enough. Sometimes you have to know the right people, plus have money, plus have talent. And it depends on who you are, what you stand for, your morals, your values, your integrity. All of that shit matters, especially if you're an entertainer. That's why they don't fuck with Katt Williams, because he has integrity. And most of these people, these entertainers, they don't have no integrity. It's whatever goes, goes. I got to do what I got to do to get the deal, period. Your favorite rapper is probably a weirdo, believe it or not. Your favorite singer is probably a weirdo. That's why I always tell people, you don't want to meet your favorite rapper or singer. You won't like them no more. You won't want to hang around them no more if you met them in person. You're better off not wanting to meet them in person. You probably not buy their music no more. Because I've met some of these people. When I was 17, 18, 19, I was young, a teenager, in high school, and even after high school. And then I lived in Atlanta for 11 years. So I've been around a little bit. I didn't seen a lot of shit since I've been living. I don't talk a lot about my past a lot, but I've seen a lot of shit, done a lot of shit, and I'm probably going to continue to do a lot more shit. But hey, I'm gonna put up anything you want to talk about. I'm gonna put the link in here real quick, and anything you want to talk about, let's talk about it. Otherwise, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put the link in here, and we can talk about anything you want. And P.S. by the way, check out my Patreon. That's Patreon.com/Sharpe Game. You know what I'm saying? I know it's Friday night. It's a Friday night. You can be anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend 1 hour with me, and I appreciate that. And Oh, weird. I always get these weird messages when I'm online live. Always. I get these weird messages on my phone. I don't know why that happens that way, but oh well, you know. But yeah, so share this episode. Tell me what you think below, and don't forget to check out my Patreon. I'm gonna upload a new interview over there in the next couple of days. It's raw and uncut. You know, the only way you're gonna be able to see that interview is it has to be on my Patreon. I can't upload certain interviews to YouTube directly. It's gonna get flagged. So next time, I'm out. Alright. Just got the call, it's going down tonight. It's a lot of goodbyes here tonight. But then I saw the stallion that I like. Hair from Cali, I live in the valley.